What's up guys, it's Jordan. Today's video is going to be kind of personal. Never in a million years did I ever plan on making this video, but I'm basically going to be telling you guys about my battle with depression and having suicidal thoughts. I haven't told anybody about this in real life before because talking about this makes me kind of uncomfortable, but I feel like it's my responsibility to share my experience because someone out there is probably going through some of the same things that I went through. And even if it's just one person, I just want them to see that they're not alone and that I know what it feels like. Ever since I was young, I always had issues with self-confidence. I was always worrying about what other kids would think of me and just stupid things like that. And I guess that's pretty normal for most kids, but as the years went on, I never really developed a sense of identity. I feel like eventually most people kind of grow into themselves. Like they become who they really are and stop caring as much about what other people think. But that never really happened to me. Like I would always just overthink little things. In my eyes, I was never really good enough. So fast forward to junior year of high school. This is when I first started to put some serious thought into what I want to do in life. But the thing is, since I didn't really have much of an identity, I didn't know what I wanted to do. And at the same time, it seemed like everyone around me kind of had like at least a general sense of direction. This made my self-confidence fall even further than before, and I was really down on myself. And in addition to that, I was working for the first time, and I wasn't really used to balancing school and work, especially since junior year is like the hardest year of high school. So I was a little bit overwhelmed. I was always stressed, I was always tired, I hated work, I hated school, and now that I look back on it, I think I can honestly say that this is kind of when my depression started, but I just didn't really know what it was yet. The best way I can describe it is like there was just a dark cloud that was constantly over me. I was just looking for a little bit of sunlight. So I decided to go to a nearby community college instead of going to my dream school, and I explained why I did that in my dropout video. But basically I still didn't know what I wanted to do. And as far as workload goes, college was in like a completely different ballpark. As a result, I didn't really have time to hang out with my friends, and on top of that, I never made any new friends in college. So I was pretty much always alone, just doing homework all the time. And over time, I started to question more and more if college was really the right move for me. But I decided to keep going because I didn't want to be seen as a failure. Eventually, after changing my major like 5 times, I think, my first semester, I sort of like half committed to being an accounting major, even though I knew I didn't like accounting. And I knew that because I had already taken an accounting class in high school, and I didn't like it at all. No offense to any accounting majors out there, but it's not for me. So with this major came an even heavier workload, except that now I was putting in all this work for a goal that I didn't even want. All of a sudden, it felt like I was back in junior year again. I felt like that dark cloud was back, only this time there was no sunlight. I would finish school, then go work a job that I didn't like for basically the rest of my life. So my hatred for school started to turn into a hatred for life. And it just got worse and worse. I started thinking things like, if this is what life is like, then maybe I don't want to live life. But I had never really classified myself as depressed. I always felt like I kind of had it too good to be depressed. My family was still together. We didn't have to worry about money or anything like that. It was like, how dare I be depressed when I'm probably living someone else's dream life? Looking back on it, that was really stupid of me to think that. Depression isn't just influenced by your circumstances, it's a neurological condition. But nonetheless, by this point, my self-confidence was lower than it had ever been before. My motivation was gone. When I say motivation, I'm not just talking about my motivation for school. I'm talking about my motivation for life. So it just got worse and worse, and eventually it got to the point where I was having suicidal thoughts every day. I know this is going to sound kind of weird, but It's like there were voices in my head telling me that nobody would care if I died and they'd probably be happier without me, just things like that. My rational mind knew that that wasn't true, but when you hear something enough times, you start to believe it, no matter how ridiculous it is. So by this point, I'm staying up till like 5, 6 in the morning every day, just visualizing like what it would be like to not have to deal with life anymore. And the more I thought about it, the more rational suicide seemed to me. It got to a point where I no longer feared death anymore. One image that was always in my head at this time was like me laying there in a coffin, just at peace. And those thoughts, they gave me a sense of relief. It's like I would finally be free from myself. I told a few friends about like some of the things that I was going through, and of course they did everything in their power to convince me not to follow through with those ideas. If it wasn't for them, I probably wouldn't be alive. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys and tell you that I'm completely past depression and that I'm always happy now. I still have those days, but it's gotten better, and I guess that's all I can ask for. I guess you can say I found some sunlight again. I'm not looking for pity or anything. I just kind of wanted to shed some light on what I've been dealing with for the past few months, or really the past few years, because most of my friends don't really know about any of this. But if you're watching this and you're dealing with depression or any other mental problem, I just want you to know that you're not alone, and that if you think no one else cares about you, I do. So that's all I have for today, guys. Thank you all for watching. I love each and every one of you. Thank you guys for 100 subscribers. I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.